everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today here on the channel, we're going to be talking about the 2016 South Korean horror film written and directed by Na Hong-jin, and that film is called The Wailing. And we are also going to be talking about its 2023 Well Go USA 4K Blu Ray. This is actually a recommendation from Frank's Media and Reviews. If you are a director here on the channel, you're under the director's tier for channel memberships, you have your choice review each and every single month, and this was Frank's Media and Reviews February choice, and thank God he picked this one because it is a fantastic film, and it also had a pretty recent release on 4K Blu-ray, and we'll get into that in the second part of this review. But we'd like to start the reviews off on the channel here with a film review, and that's where we're going to start it off. So this film came out in 2016. I don't know how it slipped by me. Because again, right out of the gate, this is not a spoiler. This is a fantastic film. It was a critical and commercial success when it was released. The director-writer himself actually received numerous awards for this film, and it's really easy to see why. But before we get too far in the weeds, what is this movie all about? Well, it takes place in a South Korean mountain village. Our lead character, Jung-woo, played by Kwak Do-an. I hope I'm pronouncing all these actors' names right, because three of these performances in this film were some amazing performances, and I don't want to pronounce their names wrong because they deserve a lot of credit for what they did, and one of those performances was done by Kwak Do-an, who plays a policeman in this South Korean village. And this town is starting to experience a lot of murders, a lot of suspicious deaths, this disease where people are just getting seriously infected and it ends up killing them in the hospital, and nobody understands what the hell is going on. And he's there, he's one of the officers investigating it, but he is not the lead actually. That's one thing about his character that I really did appreciate that they fleshed out, is he's kind of he's not the greatest cop in the world, but he's also not the worst cop in the world. He's just an average guy. He's just trying to raise his family. He lives with his wife, his daughter, his mother-in-law. You know, he's just a regular Joe. He's just trying to work his job. And then unfortunately for him, this village is going to be experiencing something that they have never experienced before. It seems like it's all connected to this Japanese man who's just rolled into town. All of this stuff starts to happen after he gets there, but they can't prove anything. They don't know why. And that's where a lot of this mystery of this film unfolds, is what is causing all of these murders to start happening and what is causing this infection that is taking over the village. And they can't really pinpoint it. And then of course, unfortunately, it starts to get way too close to home, and that's where we get to see some great performances as well by his daughter, played by Kim Hwan-wi, who is fantastic. For a child actor to get a performance like this was just so impressive. Now, we've seen some great horror performances from child actors in the past, like in Poltergeist or The Ring, but this one, she had to portray so many different emotions, not just horror moments, but she also had to be scary, she had to be sad, she had to cry, she had to scream, and then she also had to scare the ever-loving shit out of you. And I think she captured all of that perfectly, especially if you're a parent. That's one thing that they also really wanted to flesh out for you guys, is seeing the fatherhood of this man, how he cares about his daughter, how he loves his daughter. He'd be willing to do anything to save his daughter. That's a big aspect of this film. Despite it being a horror film, it's not very straightforward. It's got layers to it, and it builds up to a fantastic third act that gives a great metaphor for religion. Now, I'm not a big religious guy, but still, I really can appreciate what religion means and how you have to have your faith in it. You have to truly believe it. If you are somebody who considers themselves a religious person, you have to believe that stuff blindly. At least that's what I understand about religion. And then the metaphor for that at the very end of this film was just done. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Perfect. I absolutely love the third act of this film, because this movie is 2 hours and 36 minutes long. Can be a little bit long for a horror film, but I really think that they use that time perfectly. The first third of this movie, we spend a lot of time building up the mystery of what the hell is going on in this town. We get to really spend some time with our characters, build them up, really have some great character development in there. Our second act, we starting to let things unfold. And then in the third act, we actually really close the loop, send everyone home happy with a great conclusion that's going to leave you thinking. And again, a perfect metaphor. And I just think that this movie was just so well done from a plot and story standpoint. The technicals, I mean, the visuals and audio design were all done so well. I mean, there are certain images in this movie that are just beautiful. Great cinematography. The first two shots of this movie literally look like paintings. That's how well done they were. I mean, we get some great landscape shots where we're looking at the South Korean mountains as the sun is setting. I mean, visually stunning. Audio design was great. There's a lot of sequences that take place in the rain, and you just get that coming from both sides of the room. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the 4K Blu-ray review, how the audio was designed and how it ended up translating to 4K, but an amazing film from a technical standpoint. My only flaw with the film is actually the score of this movie. For a movie that's just so atmospheric and has like a dark tone and you kind of just feel that darkness around you the entire time you're watching the movie, I just didn't think the score really matched up with that. I thought it was alright, but I just thought it was very forgettable, and for a film that I felt like isn't forgettable, a film that is going to stick with you after you watch it, and a movie like this that really leaves you thinking, there aren't too many directors who can capture that. I would say this is very similar to what Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve do in the action sci-fi genre. They create these big, good-looking blockbusters, but, they'll leave you thinking, and what the director was going for with this film is he's still at the center of this film. All he really wanted to do was entertain the audience. He wrote a fantastic screenplay that, again, will leave you thinking. It's not completely easy to understand. You actually have to do some work. It's not a complete straightforward story. You really got to put the effort in, but he still found a way for this movie to be entertaining, fly by despite having that long film length, and really just let the movie wash over you to the point where you feel it at the very end of it, and it's one that's going to really stick with you. So I really thought that this movie was phenomenal. Thank you so much, Frank, for recommending this one to me, because I probably wouldn't have saw it without you, and it's one of those special horror films that really should be seen. If you're one of those people who aren't really into international horror films or international films in general, this is a really, really, really good one. Like I said, it looks phenomenal. It sounds phenomenal. You're going to have to get past the fact that it's in subtitles, but if you can look past that, my God, you're going to be unlocking a great film with a great story that really never leaves you bored throughout the entire film, despite being 2 hours and 36 minutes long. And again, it just looks and sounds so good with 3 great performances in here, and that third great performance that we didn't really get to talk about was done by jung-min. He plays the shaman in this village. He has to perform 2 scenes that are very similar to an exorcism. It's different in this religion. I don't know exactly what they were called, but he's got to perform these rituals, and he's got to really be moving around. The camera's really set on him. He's got effects going on by him. He's the center of these scenes, 2 of these scenes, and he does a great job. And he even said that he wasn't 100% sure what he was doing when he was going to go into it. He was just going to follow his body movements, and I really think that he nailed it. So he really gives the third of 3 great performances in this film. Everybody else in the film also does a great job, especially what they were asked to do. They actually had to film this in the mountains, and apparently it was a rough shoot. The making of is called 180 Days Filming the Wailing. So for 6 months, these people were in the woods, just getting this shit kicked out of them for their art, and I think they did a great job. So it's a very high recommendation for me for the film The Wailing, and it's definitely one that I will be revisiting 100% in the future.
마음 단단히 먹어야 되네.
Well, here it is, the Well Go USA 4K Blu-ray for The Wailing, and this came out in 2023. And right out of the gate, this does have a printing error on the box, so if you were to actually buy this right now, even though the box art is beautiful, we get this really nice slipcover right here, and I really do enjoy what they did with this. There's really nice attention to detail on this one. First of all, it's got a nice matte finishing, but then the font where it says The Wailing, it has a nice lifted font, and it's also a nice glossy finish where the rest of it has this matte finish. Also, the 4K Ultra HD logo up top, it's in white instead of the usual black. Really helps it to stand out and feel very original, so I really appreciate what they did with that. Then when you come underneath, you get the same artwork underneath, but instead now we get the black 4K Ultra HD case. You come inside, you get the 4K Blu-ray, and you get the pack-in Blu-ray. That might actually be the original Blu-ray that was released back in 2016, because the 4K Blu-ray, and this is where the printing error comes in, the 4K Blu-ray only has 1 audio track on it, while the Blu-ray actually has 2 audio tracks on it. That Blu-ray is going to feature a DTS HD 5.1 track, then it's also going to have a regular 2.0 track on there. And both of those tracks are going to be in Korean, so you have to watch them with subtitles if you don't speak Korean, which is understandable. But if you were one of those people that were hoping for a dub, there is no dub for it. I know not everyone loves subtitles, but again, like I was saying in my movie review, this is a really, really, really good film. So if you could just kind of suck it up with the subtitles, I really think you're going to be unlocking a great film here for you guys. But it does on the box say that there is a Dolby Atmos track on there in pretty big font. Unfortunately, though, there is no Dolby Atmos track on there. I'm not too sure what happened. We kind of see this sometimes from Shout Factory where there's just a printing error. Something got lost in the weeds, and they printed the Dolby Atmos logo on the back of the box, but there is no Dolby Atmos track on here. It's just the DTS HD 5.1 when you're watching the 4K Blu-ray. You have no other choice but to watch it with that audio track. The second audio track, the 2.0 track, is on the Blu-ray. And all of your special features are going to be on that Blu-ray as well, and they're pretty disappointing. You get the trailer, you get a making of, which is only 5 minutes long. You also get another like 2-minute featurette kind of talking about the beginning of the Wailing. And it's very disappointing. I would have liked more extras, but I guess I'm glad we got some of them. You know, for a movie like this that's an international film, bringing it to 4K Blu-ray here in the United States, and if you wanted to buy this in any other region that is in South Korea, I really do appreciate it, so I don't want to complain too much that we didn't get more bonus features. But for a film like this, which I really enjoyed, I want to know more about the creation of the story. I want to know more about what the actors were going through. Like, for the little bit that we got, I found it to be just so fascinating. I just wanted more. So I was definitely a little bit disappointed by the extras. But now when we dive into the real technical stuff, like the visuals and the audio, they did a great job on the visuals. My God, this film looks beautiful. And it's not even in native 4K. No, this is a 2K intermediate shot with beautiful digital cameras, but it's not a 4K Blu-ray straightforward. This is actually upscaled to 4K Blu-ray, but you don't really notice that. It really does just look great. I mean, it looks crisp and clear. Again, shot with modern digital cameras, so that looks a little bit different from film, but it still looks awesome when you're looking at this. I mean, the 4K Blu-ray, what really makes it pop, because we get HDR10 and Dolby Vision on here, are some of those beautiful scenes in the rain. Very similar to what we actually just saw with Second Sight's release of High Tension, when it's raining out and just how those green leaves pop against the gray sky and the rain pouring down. It just looks so good. And speaking of those rain scenes, that's where the DTS HD 5.1 also really shined. Makes great use of all of your channels, so it feels like the rain is coming from the left and right. That's great attention to detail, so they mixed it very well. It just would have been cool if they really did give us that new Dolby Atmos track. Maybe that's what they were intending to do, because it is the same DTS HD 5.1 track that's on that Blu-ray, and I believe that is the previously released Blu-ray. So for me, I just think maybe they were trying to make an Atmos track, and maybe they didn't have enough money, or they ran out of time. I don't know what it is, but they just ended up bringing that 5.1 over to the 4K Blu-ray, and it is a very solid DTS HD 5.1. I don't want to sell it short just because I'm a little upset that I thought I was getting an Atmos track, but it's still very well mixed. I mean, like I was just saying about the rain, you can hear it coming out of multiple channels, and it really does make good use of all the channels. The bass, not the greatest, but still very good amount of bass, and what you're really there for is the dialogue, is all of that coming in crisp and clear, and it is. So I really have no complaints. I was just a little bit let down because I thought we were getting a Dolby Atmos track. You know, I bought the box first before I looked up on Blu-ray.com what it exactly the audio track was, and I was like, oh, this isn't matching up. And I was reading that reviewer's review, and he was pointing out as well that about the printing error. I was like, damn, there really is no Dolby Atmos track. So I was just a little bit let down, but again, I can't sell a DTS HD 5.1 short. It's still really good. And the visuals, they are just phenomenal. I keep getting away from them, but I really don't want to sell them short as well. We get a lot of close-ups in this movie, so we could see the effects, and the effects are all done phenomenally. All of it looks like it's a mixture of practical and CGI effects, but we get a lot of close-ups on people's faces, and they'll have like blood and just dirt and grime all over them, and you can just see the material of what it is. That's how good the 4K Blu-ray is. And again, for a 2K intermediate, that is very impressive. But we're at the point now where these cameras can just pick up anything. And for a movie that's using digital cameras, sometimes that stuff can look a little bit, you know, digital. It can look like it's shot on an iPhone at points, but no, not this one. This really does feel like a film. The cinematography is beautiful. Great use of lighting. I really have no complaints when it comes to the visuals at all, actually. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I was sitting there just going, wow, this is a phenomenally shot film that just translated so well to the 4K format. So really the only complaints I have about this 4K Blu-ray are the extras and that disappointing printing error about there not being a Dolby Atmos track on it. That's really all that let me down. But for a film like this that I didn't even have on my radar until Frank pointed it out to me, and one I should check out, to pick up this beautiful looking 4K Blu-ray on top of that, it's a high recommendation for me. It got to me pretty quick as well. It only took about a week ordering it off of Amazon, and I was just so impressed with the quality of the packaging, the discs themselves, and even that jump from that Blu-ray to the 4K Blu-ray when we started just to brighten things up, really make the color look so much more fuller than it does on the Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray that's packed in here is not that bad at all. It's actually a very solid Blu-ray, but the 4K, you're really showing off what we can do with HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and just how colors look more full and richer on the 4K Blu-ray format, and we could brighten them up without the expense of those deep blacks. And I just thought that the 4K Blu-ray was phenomenal, other than those really disappointing extras and, you know, that printing error. Other than that, what a great 4K Blu-ray release for a great film. If I was going to give this one a score of 1 to 10, I would give it a very solid 9 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it here for me. I'm going to kick it over to Future John for this week's Digital Code giveaway. And that is correct. It is Monday, and that means it's time for our Digital Code giveaway. In every video we do on Friday, I ask you guys 2 Digital Code giveaway questions. All you got to do is come back to this Monday's video. As long as you answered one of those questions, I put your name on a magic wheel. I spin that bad boy 2 times. The 2 names it lands on, they have their choice of the digital codes you see on your screen before you today. And just a heads up, guys, if you enter this week's Digital Code giveaway, that's going to be put out this Friday. We aren't going to be spinning the magic wheel until next Wednesday. I'm not going to be around from Thursday to Tuesday. I'm going on vacation, so I won't be able to set up the magic wheel and edit it into next Monday's video. So we will be spinning the magic wheel for next week's Digital Code giveaway on Wednesday. And it won't take away from next week's Digital Code giveaway. We'll ask the following week's questions on Friday and get back on track. And that also means that our members giveaway wheel will also be done next Wednesday as well. So if you guys do want to become a channel member before then, and you will be entered into our monthly giveaway where you'll have your choice of the following 4K Blu-rays: Waterworld courtesy of Arrow Video, Thor Love and Thunder on 4K Steelbook, or The Lost Boys on 4K Blu-ray. Those are your 3 options if you are a channel member. It doesn't matter what tier you're on either. Even if you're on the Friends of the Channel tier, the producers tier, or the directors tier, every single channel member gets entered into our physical giveaway. Just want to give you guys a heads up before we get into this week's giveaway, because it is only a temporary thing that I'm going to be away. It's only going to be for 5 days. My phone will still be with me. I'll still be able to respond to any comments or questions. So if you have to reach out to me on my email or my social media accounts, I will be still checking my phone twice a day to make sure I respond to you guys. I don't want to leave you guys in the dark. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic. This past week, I asked you guys, what was your favorite classic film? And what was your favorite international film? Now, international films were all over the place. Everybody had different favorites. Now, when it comes to classic film, 2 of them were just huge runaways. First of all, The Wizard of Oz from 1939, and then 1960's Psycho. Most of you guys picked one of those 2 films. There were a few other ones that slipped in there, but for the most part, those were the 2 big ones, and it's easy to see why. And in 3rd place was Casablanca. So out of those 3 films, my favorite would probably be, I'm gonna guess Psycho, but Casablanca. Each time I rewatch Casablanca, I just love that movie. One of the greatest love stories of all time. Still holds up to this very day, but I don't think any film still holds up like The Wizard of Oz. Kids still discover The Wizard of Oz in 2024, 85 years after the original release of The Wizard of Oz. So that is a very special film. To be reaching young generations at this point with a film like that, it really just shows you that that movie is one of the greatest films in Hollywood history. But enough of me rambling on. Let's spin this magic wheel and see who our 2 lucky winners are. First wheel spin coming up.
Whoa, taking the elevator, going up. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top, keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up, I'm coming up.
Brian. Right, Brian, we're going to remove your name.
Whoa, taking the elevator, going up. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top, keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up, I'm coming up.
Kimmy. All right, congratulations, Brian and Kimmy. Both of you guys have won in the past. Brian, I think, has been around since we had 6 names on the wheel, and he actually used to keep track of who the winners were. I don't know if Brian still does that, but Brian's been around for a very long time. Kimmy's been around for a long time as well, and she has won in the past, so she knows how this works. But if you guys don't, reach out to me at my email address, letstalkentmt@gmail.com, or you could always reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, X, just direct message me. Let me know which of the digital codes you want. As long as the other winner didn't take it, that digital code is all yours. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for entering into this week's digital code giveaway. You already heard me talk about how next week's giveaways are going to work, so I'm not going to repeat myself. I don't want to bore you guys to death. So we'll just say goodbye. We'll be seeing you around. I hope you all enjoy your week, and we'll be seeing you next time.